Our next question does not have a video with it, and we're going to start with Students of Liberty. It's a question that kind of refers to the athletics department. What do you think the relationship should be between the athletics department and the university, as well as the athletics department and student senate?
I think there should be a good relationship. I don't think it should have anything to do with money. We give them we give them millions of dollars, and they have, tens of millions of dollars in revenue every year. I don't understand with such a successful athletic department why it needs to be subsidized by all students. But I think that you can still have a really healthy relationship with the athletics department without handing them a bunch of money.
Okay, thank you. United Students?
When you think about the relationship between any student group and faculty, you must think about moving ahead and getting things done. And when you think about the athletics department, all the people that they oversee are athletes. Well, are these athletes students too? I mean, we do have students who are partaking in all these activities, and we want to be supporting. And I don't really see that a connection or group having some relationship with athletics would be a bad thing. We think that it's always money, money, money. Well, we still want to build relationships, improve this campus.
We're also going to, when we speak to these people, let them know that we're representing students. And we're going to go to the athletics department. We're going to go to university administrators and do all that we can to work with them to accomplish things. But when the bottom line is, if we're elected student body president and vice president, we're here to represent students.
Okay, thank you. And finally, Connect, same question. How do you view the relationship between the athletics department and the university, as well as the student senate?
I think the relationship between the student senate, every student at this university, and athletics is very important as well. Like Michael just touched on, athletes are oftentimes referred to as student athletes. They are students too. And I feel that their input should be taken just as seriously. I think we should have a strong relationship working together for what's in the best interest of students. I also think, just a little tangent about in regard to student athletes, I think we should also encourage student athletes to help out club sports as well, and regular students that play intramurals. They aren't considered athletes by the athletic department, but most intramural teams, at least that I've been on, consider ourselves very serious student athletes, and we would like to build a good relationship for every student.
Okay, thank you, Connect. United Students' turn again to answer the question first. We have a video for this one.
Marilyn Slover, I'm from Topeka, Kansas, and I'm a sophomore. And I would like for campus two things, main things. Parking, which I'm sure you guys have heard about plenty enough, but it really is a big problem for a lot of people I know, including myself, especially when the weather is bad. It was hectic, it was crazy, really hard to get to class. I think it really affects people's grades. I think it's a crucial thing our campus needs to face, and we really need to get that changed.
All right, and to recap, the question is, what would you do to improve parking, address parking fees, or create more parking options for students, starting with United Students?
When you think about parking on campus, it's a great question. That's a huge issue that's facing students right now. As far as, parking during basketball games, parking in the evenings, trying to go to the library, parking on campus whenever you're late, when there's bad weather. And so I think United Students is the only one actually taking a stance on this issue. If you look in the UDK tomorrow, you'll see one of our platforms working on parking. That's huge. When you want students to have the most convenient place to be on campus possible. So if someone's going to the basketball game, everyone's parking on Jayhawk Boulevard, Sunnyside. But what if students have labs, midterms they have to study for? You have to make a place for students, because why are we here in the first place? We're here for students, and we want to make sure it's more convenient for students.
And what we're going to do then is propose that we open up on game nights, basketball game nights, the entire Union parking garage, and the entire Union parking garage on non-game nights after 5 p.m. on the first floor.
Okay, thank you, United Students. Connect, same question. How would you address the parking situation for KU students?
I often tell people that since we live on a hill, parking is always going to be a problem. And many students who we talk to in the fall and in the spring have said parking is a big problem for them. Now, the current administration of Student Senate has actually taken spots away from students. This year we've lost 50 spots in Lot 90. And as your student body president, I will give those 50 spots back to students with yellow passes. Thank you.
Okay. And Students of Liberty, how would you address the issue of student parking?
Well, the issue of student parking is all kinds of messed up. So, I mean, it depends on what part you want to deal with. You've got the parking department talking about raising all parking passes and lowering the park and ride, which is unfair to everybody that lives in the dorms because you can't park and ride to your house. Then you've also got the issue with the football arena. You know, basically we lost a lot of parking spaces, as Austin said, and basically you've got to work towards getting those parking spaces back. But I think that one thing that everybody kind of overlooks is if we actually classify mopeds as bicycles, then mopeds are actually a great way for students and the university to save money. They don't take up parking spaces, no insurance, 100 miles per gallon on average. I mean, it's really something that would save KU parking spaces. It would save students money.
We also need free parking at the health center.
Yeah, Watkins Health Center. It's a hospital.
Thank you. The next question is in the form of a YouTube video submission.
My name is Gretchen Gear, and I am a senior in journalism from Hutchinson, Kansas. And I was wondering if either coalition would ever compile a file of landlords in Lawrence so students could know if landlords were good and bad and whether or not they should rent from them.
All right. Connect. The question. Landlords or apartment complexes.
Yeah. Yes, we think that a great opportunity to show information about every single apartment complex, every living arrangement, scholarship halls, residence halls, Greek life chapter and houses can be viewed at this thing called Wikipedia that we have created. The website is connectku.com/wiki, that's WIKI, and it's in the form of Wikipedia, an online encyclopedia about everything KU that every student, prospective students, and alumni can go and look back on, and anyone, it's a community-driven thing, anyone can change it. As the rates go up, the landlords might decide to change something. Any student can go in and change it that day. So,
okay, thank you. Students of Liberty, would you guys ever consider compiling a list like this so that students could compare housing options?
Yeah. If you really care about KU students, this has to be a major issue because Lawrence is just ridden with slumlords. There are a bunch of landowners owners out there that are basically taking advantage of students, forcing them to live in slums and screwing them over for their money. This is a really huge problem, probably one of the biggest problems we have. We need to do something, at the very least compile a list or some kind of informational database so we can root these people out and actually take care of our students.
All right, thank you. And United Students, would you guys consider compiling a list like this so that students could compare housing options?
Absolutely. And several years ago, there was a place on campus called the Off-Campus Living Resource Center that did just that. And last year, that was gone away with. They got rid of that for some reason or another, but that's something that United Students is committed to. We do need a place on campus where students can go and talk about these apartment complexes that they're thinking about renting at, so that they can hear feedback from other students and that they have a place on campus that they're allowed to go and find that information.